Good morning, everyone. So unexpected, unplanned, I should say, video today. And it was inspired by the comment I got from my followers saying, silly question. I'm going to read a comment. Silly question, but how do you know where to put the colors or the circle? I have wanted to start, but I'm afraid I will do it wrong. That inspired me to reply and record live video. First of all, thank you for the comment, and it's not a silly question at all. First of all, did I say first of all already? So, okay, something happened here. Anyway, there are no silly comments, and let me show how to get started. If you're new to Neurographics, there are no special skills required really. And the easiest way to start would be grab a piece of paper and any writing tool. I prefer markers because they don't smudge. That's the easiest way to do it, but whatever you have handy right now, you can do it. I'm going to switch my camera so I can show you what supplies I'm using and how to get started, what the first step is, what's the second step is, and you can just follow along and draw with me. So let me just switch the camera. Okay. And you can grab any piece of paper, literally any, like even printer paper. I have the whole stash here. Like it could be a regular paper which goes in your printer, or it could be sketchbook, just like this. And then you need something to write with or draw with. I, again, as I said, I prefer the permanent markers only because they don't smudge. They hold color pretty well, but you can use anything you want. And if you have that fear of how do I start, where do I start, all you do is take the paper, grab a marker, and just draw your first neurographic line. Just do it. Don't overthink it. Just draw it. That's how you start. Let your hand move freely. Avoid patterns. And when I say avoid patterns, what I mean is don't draw something similar to this or something like this. That's what we tend to do. If you want to start with neurographics, take your marker, take your pen where it doesn't want to go or where you don't expect to see it. Now, some of you might say, how do I do this? I mean, obviously, before I draw a line, I sort of can tell where my pen wants to go. And you'll be absolutely right. But that's where the skills come in, because that's what you do when you practice drawing neurographic line. You always try and take it slightly in a different direction. It doesn't have to be a sharp corner, but every time you move your marker, watch me. Let's say you want to go up, try and take it down. Let's say you want to go lower, down, try and take it up. And that's what creates this unpredictable path instead of going and using the same pattern, which you're already familiar with. And that's literally where our brain gets stuck because we keep circling and going through like the same circles, the same loops in our head, and we can't find solutions for existing problems, or we're, let's say, stressed because, or we have anxiety because we keep literally looping and going through the same thought over and over again. What neurographic line does, it actually creates a new path, and that helps us, helps our brain relax. Once you got the lines on the page, you feel like you had enough of those, you can go ahead and start rounding corners. And rounding corners means we're gonna draw half circles with the lines intersect. And that would be enough. Like if you, that would be enough to start. Draw several neurographic lines and then find the intersections and round the corners, round the intersections. Keep going, keep doing it until all the corners are rounded. For some of you, it might feel very meditative. Some of us might experience resistance in the form of irritation. You might want to just drop and say, I don't want to do it anymore. Why am I even doing this? This is annoying. That's your mind going out of the comfort zone. This is your mind saying, let's go back to old patterns because this is stupid. What are we doing here? It's just silly. And that's okay. Notice it and let it be there. Give it a space. Acknowledge the fact that, let's say, you are angry or annoyed by the process. But if you want to get result, I would suggest stay with it, push through, or maybe not push through, relax into it. Just acknowledge the moment that it, let's say, brings some negative emotions out of you, and just let them be. But keep rounding. Now, that's one scenario. Some of us actually might enjoy the process and say that that's very relaxing. And that's how you start. I see some comments, and I want to apologize if I'm not replying right away because I'm by myself here and I'm trying to show you how the process goes. But I do see comments. Hello, everyone. So tell me, is anyone who is watching right now, are you guys drawing with me? Or are you just watching? This is a time where I wish I had four hands, four arms to reply. The one would be like drawing, and two, maybe another set of eyes as well to read comments and reply. Another set of eyes just keep drawing, right? Anyway, once you round all the corners, you can look at your drawing and find some shapes. Again, if you're a beginner, I would suggest start with circles. Don't go into squares, triangles, stars, or anything like that. That's just my recommendation to keep it organic, safe, and harmonious. Because drawing the lines actually and creating new neural pathways might be very stressful for your mind and even for your body. So let's be gentle with ourselves and practice self care. By the way, it's a good idea when you're rounding corners to pay attention to your breathing. Ask yourself how your breathing is right now. Are you holding your breath? Are you breathing normally? You don't have to do anything with it. Just ask yourself. And if you notice that you're holding your breath, just start breathing normally. That practice by itself, paying attention to our breath and drawing lines, already has a healing power. Now, I thought it's going to be a very short video, but this process is so addictive that I can't just stop. I went around every single corner. And that's what I recommend. Again, I can't stress this point enough. If you're a beginner, make sure to round every corner, every intersection. If you missed the part where I showed how to demonstrate how to round the corners, here it is again. So you find the intersection. Let's work on this one. And then you draw half circle. And when you do draw half circles, you'll see, and then you fill up with color, that little neuron, you create a new connection. And that's how you rewire your brain. And then you just keep going. Here's another intersection: half circle, half circle, half circle, half circle, and then fill it up with color. And that's how you get neurographic drawing. This is just as simple. So don't stress it out. Don't overanalyze. Don't overthink it. Just do it. And trust me, that comes from the person who is such a perfectionist. I tend to overanalyze. I always get ready to get started, to get going. That's me. Because I feel like no matter how much I know, I still need more information instead of just going and doing it. So I encourage you not to make those mistakes and just grab a piece of paper, a pen, a marker, and just draw your first neurographic line. Okay, now I think I'm done with rounding, although I have noticed a couple of more intersections and I'll round them. But the next step would be look at your drawing and find shapes. As I said before, find the circles. Let's just draw circles today, especially if you're a beginner. And what I see here, for example, in my drawing, this is like almost the beginning of a circle. And for some reason, it just does stare at me. It looks at me. What I'm going to do is like, I will pick up, I kind of trace it and finish the circle. And there is no science to this particular moment. You literally, your eyes and your hand will tell you where you want to put the circle. So this one as well. And as I'm doing it, I do pay attention to my breath. And when I was drawing the second circle, I felt like I was holding my breath. So I noticed that and I stopped and I take a deep breath and I try to normalize my breathing. That would be enough. Again, the fact that you notice it already has a healing effect on your body and on your mind, and it regulates your nervous system. Now, I have two circles, and for now, it's enough for me. And I'm going to go back to our process of rounding. So I find crossings where I find where the circle I just drew cross the neurographic lines. Like, for example, here it's a sharp corner, and I'm going to draw a half circle again and fill it up with color. So, and I'm going to do it with the first circle and then move to the next shape, to the second circle. But I'm going to go all around and see and look for new corners, for new sharp edges, and I'm going to smooth them out by practicing the rounding. And again, going back to the comment and original question, that's how you start. You don't have to know where to put circles. You just trust your hand. Your mind knows where to go and where to put those circles. Your subconscious mind does know that. And your body, in this case, your hand does know where to put those circles. All you have to do is trust. Trust your hand. Wherever it takes you on the piece of paper, that's where it wants to go. You're probably familiar with the concept that if you have a question, your subconsciousness already has an answer for it. All you have to do, or you have to just tap into it and kind of hear that answer, which already is there. But we humans, our brains are so analytical, we overanalyze everything. We don't trust our subconscious mind. We're very rational. That's what we're taught, and we tend to overanalyze things. Well, this practice takes you to kind of relaxes us, relaxes our brain, and reminds us to trust our subconscious, which already holds a wisdom and holds every answer to any question you might hold, or to any problem or you're trying to solve. The answer is already there. All you have to do is tap into it. But unfortunately, again, our analytical minds, they kind of shield that from us. So by drawing neurographics, you're tapping into the wisdom of your subconsciousness. And I know it might sound simple, but there is a lot of research done, and it's a scientific method which combines psychology, art, neuroplasticity, and so the concept behind it is not that simple, really. But the method itself, the process is so enjoyable and accessible to anyone that I don't know, it's almost like magic, but it's not because there is methodology behind it. You probably noticed I felt like adding more neurographic lines, and that's what I did. And remember, you can add as many lines as you want at any stage. The only rule is remember to round the corners, especially if you're a beginner. I mean, that rule applies to everyone, but I can't stress that point enough because if you're a beginner, be gentle with yourself because you're really working on a very deep level of your subconscious mind, even though it looks very simple and easy. So I guess I'm going to just leave those circles here. If you feel like adding more, go ahead and do it. And if you feel like adding more lines, you can go ahead and do it as well. You can even give them meaning, but let's just for today, since it's our first, again, if it's your first drawing, then let's just stick to that kind of, let's stop here and move on to the colors, to the next stage, next step. So I have several pencils here, and I guess, I don't know, like which stash. Okay, I'll show you this. I'm going to choose pencils. I'm not sure now. Maybe I will go with, what do I do? Pencils or into highlighters or any kind of color you want, as long as your lines don't get smudged and you still can see the color. I mean, the neurographic lines, you're fine. So I recommend personally going with pencils. That's kind of classic. And then addressing the question in the comment was, how do you know where to start? Again, there is no right or wrong. You start, you ask yourself, where do I want to start? And you just start there. So my hand decided to go and start with the circle. And then where do I go next? I don't know. I just trust my hand wherever it takes me. Keep checking on your breath. Are you breathing? Are you breathing normally? I guess that's what I'm asking because we all are breathing. Again, if you notice that you're holding your breath, go back to breathing normally. More just drawing, this practice is about body and mind connection. Now, sometimes I get a question, how do you know which color to use? Again, my answer would be trust yourself. There are a couple of ways you can do it. For example, you can consciously kind of purposefully choose the color. Or you can do what I did today. I just let my hand pick any color and it chose orange. And I'm liking it. And orange for me is fire, energy, and fun. What does orange represent to you? Or whatever color you chose, ask yourself, what is it representative of? Okay, I guess I had enough of this color and I'm going to switch. And this is what I do. I kind of like take my old pencils and I close my eyes and I let my hand pick a color. Let's see. Okay, it's some sort of gray. Okay, let's go with gray. Well, we can go with gray, and I'll tell you why. Odd luck. And I don't know why this pencil is here because in Neurographics, we don't use metallic colors. I wasn't planning to tell you this today, but okay, so I'm going to pick another color. Metallics are prohibited. If you're using classical neurographics and you're sticking to the rules and methodology, you can't use metallic colors, pencils or sharpies. That's the rule the author of the method, Pavel Piskorov, implemented, and we have to follow it. Now, if you are, so let me choose the color first. Okay. Gosh, it's another, I don't know, it's another orange, or I would say peach. Okay, let's go with that. Oh, it blends. Blends with the other color. That's okay. Now, I've noticed here a sharp corner I missed, and I'm gonna go back and round that corner. Okay. So that's another thing. If you notice that you missed any corners, or there was some unrounded intersections and you somehow missed them, that's okay. Stop coloring and go ahead and round them. Okay, so I'm going back to my peach color, which kind of blends with the orange. Well, okay, I trust the universe, so I trust something bigger than myself. For some reason, my hand picked that color. Okay, as I'm doing this, I'm going to tell you about the metallic markers. There was a rule prior, everyone was using metallic colors, but then the author of the method, the creator of the method, decided, and there is a good explanation for it, why. And if you want, next time I'll tell you the reason behind it. So in Neurographics, we don't use any gold colors, any metal colors, any silver colors. Gray is um, allowed, but again, as long as it doesn't have that shimmer or metallic shade to it. Now, if you are on sort of an art territory, and a lot of people create neurographic art, that's different. Then in art, you can, I mean, it's art. You can do, I guess, will I be safe if I say whatever you want because it's your art? So, and that's how you start. That's how you create your first neurographic drawing. Now, I'm going to go with one more color, and then probably we're going to wrap up today's drawing. So, what's this? Some kind of green. Okay. As I'm coloring, again, I'm asking myself, what does this color represent to me? Maybe there is some kind of message for me. Well, green for me is about spring. And this deep green color actually is for me about wisdom. I'm not sure why, but today my mind gave me this answer. It's about wisdom. And once I said it, I realized wisdom to be more patient because I tend to live in the future a lot. I always want to get through processes faster. One of my, so that's actually my discovery or my message for myself again, for my subconscious mind, that I should be more wise and more patient with everything, including any process. My favorite answer to the question is like, when do you want it done? I will say yesterday. That's how much in the future I leave because I want everything done already and kind of move forward. But the wisdom is that you have to be patient. Again, I have to be patient and enjoy the moment. So that green color, for some reason, represents that message for me today. For you, green could be something else. And guess what? Tomorrow, in a different neurographic drawing, it might change the meaning, and that's okay. Okay, I guess I'm ready to wrap up. I'm gonna work on my drawing more, but I hope I answered that question about where to start and how to start. And to wrap up, I would say to start with neurographic line. Well, first of all, grab a piece of paper. Doesn't have to be a professional sketchbook, just any piece of paper will work. Grab any writing tool. Again, I prefer Sharpie because they don't smudge, but you can choose anything you want. And then just start drawing your first neurographic lines. Once you get enough neurographic lines on the on your paper and you feel like you had enough, round the corners. Once you rounded the corners, add circles. Once you add circles, make sure you round all the corners again, and then you can add color. Okay, that's not all the steps which we use in neurographics. However, those are enough to get started. I hope this helps. And I will be doing more live drawings. Please join. And thank you, everyone who was watching. If you have any questions or you want to drop a comment or you want to learn more, please drop a comment below. I always try to read every comment and reply. Have a beautiful Saturday, everyone.